This is a brand new pressure washer available at Costco for 2026. Introducing the AR XWM2300. This is a very interesting and cool design where you can actually have it solo and wall mount it. Or you could put it on the wheels and move it around. Now, as far as performance specs go, they list 2300 max PSI and 1.3 max GPM. And in today's video, like always, we're gonna test the real world performance of this thing. We're gonna hook it up to a PSI gauge, test the flow to see how accurate those numbers actually are. All right, guys, this is me from the future. I just finished testing this thing. Watch the full video so you can get a good idea. But if you're at Costco and you're just wondering, should I get this thing? Overall, yeah, for sure. I think at 199 bucks, this thing's got a lot of value for that money. Now, the other day I headed to my local Costco and I get super excited when I see this thing sitting on the shelf. Now, to be perfectly honest, the shelf display of this unit, because it has so many different features, isn't the best retail display, but the box shows the product very, very well, and you can really get a good idea of what it is. Now, I think it was last year that AR introduced their pressure washers in Costco stores. Now, I'm not sure if they were in there previously, but this was a new reintroduction if they were in the past. And last year they had a great unit. I can't remember the exact price point, but it was an induction motor. Didn't get the most flow, but for around the house, it was fantastic, right? This, on the other hand, is something very, very different. Doesn't have the trolley, doesn't have the usual footprint of an electric pressure washer. This one's very different with the wall mount feature. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this thing open. Like I said, we're gonna test it and see if it is worth your money. Now, coming in at a price of $199, that's a fantastic deal, especially with all the features that this has. So let's go ahead and see. Now, as I'm unboxing this thing, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about AR Blue Clean. So AR is, I can't even pronounce it, Anrovi Riviera, something like that. It's an Italian brand with a big footprint here in the US. Their US headquarters are actually in Minnesota. Over the years of doing this, I've had a good opportunity to meet with those guys a few times. Fantastic company, really, really nice people. So let's go ahead and pull this guy out and see what we got. Now, right off the bat, what I noticed here, guys, we do have some screws and stuff, obviously, to assemble whatever we need to, but they also do give you an assortment of additional O-rings, which is nice. So you get the little instruction manual and warranty card. It does state on this, it's a 2-year warranty. Obviously, that's for home use. So here is the unit itself. I'm gonna keep pulling stuff out. Whoops. Just from the weight of this, I don't know if this is an induction motor or a universal motor. What are the differences between those two? Universal motors are typically lighter weight, they are cheaper to manufacture, and they have just a different noise level to them typically. Really, really standard though across most pressure washers and big box stores and stuff like that. They're typically universal. When you go to induction motors, they're heavier. They do last longer though and typically run quieter. So those are kind of the trade-offs. This one just holding, I'm gonna guess it's a universal motor, but I don't know that for sure yet. Wall mount bracket, nozzles, got our wheels, pressure washer hose, got the gun, and I believe this is the wheel base, which looks really cool. Looks like you can actually snap it into it. So we'll find out for sure. All right, guys, so we got this thing all unboxed. Let's go ahead and talk about the assembly. I think it looks to be pretty simple. Looks like we're just gonna install the wheels on the base and then the unit snaps into place with this. So let me go ahead and do this real quickly. And it does look like these are just pressure fitted and they look like they hold in place really nicely. Yeah, they just squeeze in. So super, super easy assembly. All right, guys, so there you have it. All the wheels are installed. They pop right in. Now, every single one of them has the locking mechanism on it, so you can lock them all in place. Other than that, though, they do swivel nicely. So if you want it to move around, it's gonna move around nice and easily. Now, for me, when I'm washing cars, I don't typically want the unit to move on wheels because I'm worried that it's gonna get pulled into the car and I don't want to damage the car. So again, you could just use it like that and then you have no worry. Now, in order to wall mount this thing, which I'm not going to do, I'll put up a picture of what it looks like wall mounted, but you basically get this bracket that you can install on the base unit, and then this piece you mount on the wall, right? So basically what it would do is you have the whole thing, it would slide in, holds it in place up against the wall. Really, really nice. And again, they give you all the hardware for that. Just a side note, the mounts are metal, the base is plastic, but it feels like it's well made. It feels like a good little unit. So we're gonna go ahead and take this. I don't know which way it needs to sit. Okay, here we go. So if you look on the side, like there's a little divot here that kind of goes in. And if you look here on the base, you have that on the back right here. So it should snap in right there. Let's go ahead and try it. Let's see how easy or difficult. Oh, it's so easy. And then simply, let me see here. Oh, then there's that piece. It slides right in there really nicely. And then this you would just fix onto there. And then I can't do it one-handed, but then snap it down into place and it'll lock it in. Right on the front, they do have a quick start guide with a little QR code, so you can scan that if you want to as well. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the accessories, starting off with the nozzles that they give us. So they give us a turbo nozzle. For around the house, I think this is essential. For units that are meant for around the house that don't come with a turbo nozzle, kind of confuses me. You get a lot of performance out of this thing. And then you do get a 15-degree nozzle and a 25-degree nozzle. So yellow is the 15, green is the 25. Right on the side here, it is stamped. And I believe it looks to be 1.8 orifice size nozzles. That is quite small. So this thing is going to be tuned for that maximum pressure to be utilized with those. Now, like I said, we did have the gun. The extension lance is actually mounted on the unit, so we can pop that off. So it's nice. For storage, you can take it apart, you mount that there, you take this guy, you mount it there, and you're all set. Everything locks into place, and you can keep everything together nicely. Now, in order to put the gun together, it's just a simple M22 style connection. So as you can see in here, you just slide this over, press it down over the piece, and then simply tighten it down, and you're good to go. Now the gun also comes with a standard 1/4 inch quick connect for the nozzles, so nice and easy to change out. The the pressure washer hose connection is in the front. It's not my favorite style, especially, again, around the house it's fine, but when working on cars, I'm nervous that that hose is going to brush up against the car. I prefer it comes off the back, but again, at this price point, any of the pressure washers from like $100 to $300 typically are gonna be this way, so no harm, no foul. The gun, again, it's not the best gun in the world, but again, for that price point, it's right up that alley. It's good to go. All right, so now let's give this thing a full walk around and look at all the features of this design, because it is very cool. Like I said, the fact that you can pull this off and use it as a regular unit, or you can have it on wheels and then have the option of mounting it on your wall, very, very cool. For $199, that's a ton of features, like an absolute ton. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So right on the front of the machine here, you have your power on off switch, right? And it's just a push button. It's nicely sealed though. Obviously I'm assuming that'll light up. Even if it doesn't, it's really not a big deal. You can still tell when it's decompressed or compressed. You have your water inlet here, right? That's where your garden hose will go. And then you have your water outlet here. The only thing I don't like about this unit is this is an M22 by 15 size, not M22 by 14. That matters because the hose that this thing comes with it's not terrible. It's not the best. As far as like pressure washer hoses that come with it, it's not terrible. It is not kinking on me right now. That's kind of surprising to me, to be perfectly honest. It's pretty good. Okay, now we're gonna get it to roll over on itself, and we'll see if that kink stays in the line, okay? So it's rolled over, pull it. It's a pretty good hose. It's a pretty good hose. Really, I don't have, even after doing that kink, it doesn't create a fail point. Like with other ones, if it kinks once, that kink stays in there, and then as pressure builds through it, you create a potential fail point, right? As the pressure penetrates that kink, you could get a blowout. This thing actually feels quite good. I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked. I don't know how they did that with this construction on the outer sleeve. Pretty good. But with that said, if you did want to upgrade your hose to like a longer hose, say, which is, these things are tested with the units they come with typically. So that, you know, usually just adding a bit of length, as long as it's still like a 1/4 inch hose, you're not going to lose any performance. But this thing, like I said, is set up for an M22 by 15. This whole system is an M22 system. If you look at this inner, so there's a threaded piece there, and then this inner piece plugs the hole on the front of the machine. This plug is 15 millimeters large. Most aftermarket hoses, and I say most, are 14 millimeters. So in order to use that, if you use the 14 millimeter hose on this, it's gonna leave a gap, it's gonna leak, it's not gonna function properly. So you need an M22 by 15. Now you can get an adapter, which I'll link in the description. This is an M22 15 on this side and converts to an M22 14 on the other side, so you can use whatever hose you want. But again, if you're not worried about the length of the hose, this hose is decent, for sure. Like, you're gonna be able to get the job done with this without too much headache. Some other ones are a nightmare. This one's not bad. All right, as we keep going, you have this little portion here, and then this guy that has a little swivel on it. So you can turn this out, and then you can wrap your power cord around that and keep it all nice and secure. Also a nice handle right on top. You do get, let's see here, a little foam blaster. You know, as far as the shape of it, not normal, but it's because it's custom fit so that you don't even see the thing when it's there. It's really, really nice. These aren't the best foam it's not like a full foam cannon, but they do apply soapy water or whatever chemical you're trying to produce through this thing. Now, I prefer this much more over an integrated tank where then it runs through the whole hose, because you're contaminating your hose when you do that. So this would just go at the end of your pressure washer gun, so you're never contaminating the whole hose. Additionally, we do get our 35-foot power cord. Comes off to the back here, and this is nice. It's an inline style GFCI. The benefit of this, I personally like the ones on the head a little bit, but in all honesty, in like usability, these are better. A lot of times we're using these things outside. Like at my house, I have those little covers on my outlets, and with the traditional block style like this, it won't fit in there. So with this one, you can just plug it in as normal, that hangs out, and you're good to go. And the last thing I want to highlight here is the storage on board of this thing for your nozzles, and you get an absolute ton of options. So there's one here, I believe that fits. Yeah, so there's one there. And then again, they give you 3 nozzles total, right? The turbo nozzle and then these 2 guys. One there, and then we have 4 more over here, which is really, really cool for one reason, in my opinion, and that is because a lot of times I like to manipulate the nozzle anyway, right? Go to it, so again, these are listed as 1.8s. Maybe I want to go to a 2.5 and get a little more flow, drop the PSI and get more flow. Well, then I can actually store those here as well, and I always have all of them with me. Very, very cool. I like that they did that. Now, as I'm setting this thing up to test it, I always recommend this with any pressure washer to get quick connects. Just makes the assembly much quicker when you're getting ready to use it. Again, you would want to get one specifically for an M22x15 if you're keeping this hose. All right, guys, so now it's time to go ahead and test the performance. Now, I did have to use a different hose. It's the same 25 feet, looks to be the same exact diameter, so we should have no issue there. It's just that for my pressure washer PSI gauge, I have to run quick connects, and the only quick connects I have, like I said, more common are the M22x14, not the 15. So I had to run this hose, but again, same exact style hose. Now, when we talk about the 15-degree pattern versus a 25-degree pattern, sure, you're gonna have more impact on the 15 because whatever PSI we're getting is concentrated to that small fan versus dissipated across a larger fan. Keep that in mind as well for when you're cleaning. The 15 will probably be a more aggressive cleaning experience. Now, as far as the turbo nozzle goes, usually the orifice is larger on these guys, but because it is essentially a 0-degree nozzle, so it's just shooting straight, just one pin of straight water, so you get that, again, that impact is really strong, but then it also oscillates and creates a little cone pattern, so it's really, really efficient at cleaning. I love these things for around the house. Now, one thing to note, guys, and we went over this a little bit in the design, but I didn't mention it, is the water inlet and outlet are both on one side on the front. Not my favorite style, but because this thing's wall mountable, I get why they did it that way. I just typically like it in certain situations, either one on the side and one out the other side, or completely in line where one comes in the back, one comes out the front. Then it's just all in line, you don't have to worry about getting tangled up as much. But again, like I said, with this, because of the wall mountable feature and all that, I understand that this is how it had to be done. So we have it all hooked up. Let's go ahead and turn the water source on. Okay, we're good, no leaks. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on the gun, release the air, and let some water pump through. We wanna release any air bubbles that may be in the line because that'll affect the performance. So we're gonna do that for a little bit. That should be good, and then we're gonna go ahead and fire the unit on. 100% a universal motor. So you can hear that, it's definitely a universal motor with this unit. So again, last year's was an induction motor, but this one has a lot more features, so it's a balance of things, and still, I think even at that price point, it's a fantastic deal, as long as we're getting good performance out of it. All right, guys, so we're all set up. I have the 15-degree nozzle in. We're gonna test this one as well, just to make sure we're getting the same PSI numbers, even though they are listed the same. We're just gonna do our due diligence there and make sure. Now, I also have an amp meter, so we're gonna make sure that we are properly running under the 15 amps, so let's do this. All right, guys, as you can see, the light indicator is on. It is on, right? Here's the thing. We're gonna go ahead and pull the trigger. Here's our amps. So we peaked at about 14.1 and started coming down, good to go. PSI, 1560. We're still climbing, so we're gonna let it go for a bit.
Here's a little cleaning ability of the 15-degree nozzle. And I'm at a strong angle too, so, but yeah, you can see it's definitely doing its job. Good cleaning ability.
Now it's not gonna clean quite as fast as like a high-end gas pressure washer that's way more PSI, but it will get the job done. You just gotta be a little more patient with it.
All right, guys, so we're kind of bouncing around now. We're up to 1610, down to 16.9, 1610, 16.9.
So we're gonna call it 1610 PSI overtime. Now, I know for a fact that AR typically tests their units after a few minutes of runtime. That lets the oils and everything warm up, lubricate the whole system, and it gets more efficient. So over time, it should get a little bit more efficient than that, but overall, it should be right about there. Now, that's a far cry from the 2300 PSI max PSI rating, and I don't even know how you'd get to, I think if you got to that 2300 PSI, you'd be over amping. You'd be over 15 amps. So keep that in mind. Again, another big thing to keep in mind though is everyone's power system is a little bit different. I'm actually getting 120 volts out of my plug. Some places will only get 110. Some places get a little above that. So those fluctuations will also determine the performance of the machine. We are about 700 PSI off of the number. I'm okay, again, at 200 bucks with all the features this has, and then with a turbo nozzle for cleaning ability, I don't mind that. I really don't, but we're gonna test the PSI and the GPM to see really where we're at. All right, guys, now we're gonna go ahead and change to the 25-degree nozzle and see where that puts us. So I'm gonna go ahead and test the, again, I'm assuming they're gonna be the same, but I don't know that for sure, so we're gonna test it. Here we go, 25-degree nozzle, amp reading. So we're back up to that 14, just above 14. The unit has warmed up a little bit, so I would think it should be a little lower than that. So let's check the PSI now.
Oh yeah, we're up. We were at 1600 before, right? We're at 1750. And again, that's probably gonna keep climbing.
All right, guys, so we got to 1760 PSI. We're much closer to the 2300 PSI now. What are we, 550 or so off now, as opposed to 700. So we did increase quite a bit. You actually could go slightly smaller on this, probably get up even closer. So I think, now one other thing, when they rate these things, they rate it at the pump itself, not at the end of it like I am doing. I do it here because I want the real world number, like after everything, what we're actually getting to use. But when you test at the pump, it's usually about a 10% bump. Plus, if you use a smaller nozzle, that max rating is probably pretty accurate. It's probably within that 10% variance. It's just with these nozzles, we're not gonna get there exactly to 2300, but I think it's probably accurate. Real world numbers though, about 1600 PSI and about 1750. Now real quick, let's go ahead and test the turbo nozzle. Again, this should actually drop in PSI, I think, but the cleaning ability is far superior. So here's the turbo nozzle. So you can see the cone, and it's because it's actually oscillating inside. We look at the PSI, we're down to in the 1000 range, but the cleaning ability, look at that guys, even at the angle, it's so good. It's really, it's for around the house, I really recommend a turbo nozzle. They're really great. I mean, if you get up close, you can really do some damage. Look at that, boom. Really stripping out all the dirt. So turbo nozzles are great. Now I'm not gonna test the flow on that one because it really doesn't matter. We're cleaning that way. Doesn't matter on the flow. The flow is really more important, especially when we're working on cars, right? You want a lower PSI, higher GPM. It allows you to rinse away the soap and things. So what I'll do is I'll test these nozzles for GPM, and then we'll also look at, I think I have, what size nozzle is this? Interesting, guys, I have a 1.5. I have a 1.5. Obviously the GPM is gonna be terrible with this, but let's just check and see what kind of amps and PSI we can get out of this. So here we are, the 1.5 orifice nozzle. This should be in the higher 14s, if not even more. 14.8, 0.9. Whoop. Oh, it stopped. Wow. Okay, we're above 15, but again, if it only runs over 15 for a little bit, it's okay. Let's see the PSI. We're up to 2000 here, guys. So again, this is a little bit small, but barely. So like a 1.6 should probably get us into that, again, same kind of thing, around 2000 PSI, right under 15 amps. So 2000 PSI is almost a little more than a 10% variance, so I think it is accurate. But for flow, we want to go a bit more. We want to open up that orifice, right? So this is a 2.5. Let's go ahead and check this one just to see what our PSI ranges are so I can get a good feel of what I need to test. All right, so the 2.5 orifice is coming in at 1,085 PSI. We can step up a little bit more. We'll go to a 3.0. Ouch. 3.0 nozzle. I'm assuming this is probably going to put us in the 800s. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, just about 850. So unless that's getting an insane amount of flow, that's not what I'm going to want to use. I'm probably going to say a 2.5 for washing cars is probably the ideal one. But let's go ahead and test GPM. So the GPM test is very, very simple. I have a bucket here. I'm going to run the machine, time it for 1 minute. When that 1 minute is up, I'm going to go weigh the water. That'll give us our gallons per minute rating, and we can get an idea of where we're at. So again, starting off with a 15-degree nozzle. And guys, I'll show you how I do this, but then afterwards, I'm just going to report all of them so you guys don't have to watch this whole process. Okay, so it's running into the bucket for 1 minute. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh the water. All right, guys, so after weighing the water, subtracting the weight of the bucket, and just getting to pure water weight, we're coming in at 1.107 gallons per minute, so 1.1 gallons per minute. Next up, we're gonna test the 25-degree nozzle. Okay, so for the green 25-degree nozzle, again, if you remember, we got more PSI out of that, meaning the orifice is probably a little bit smaller, and I was expecting to get less water flow, and this confirms it. We actually got 1.06 gallons per minute, so just under 1.1. All right, for the 2.5 orifice nozzle that I had, we're getting 1.284 gallons per minute, so almost hitting that 1.3 gallons per minute. Again, this thing's rated max PSI of 1.3. When we go over to this other nozzle, the 3.0, I'm sure we'll be there. All right, guys, in the last nozzle, the 3.0, we were getting 850-ish, I think. I can't remember exactly, but we're at 1.386, so almost 1.4 gallons per minute. So it's up to you really. Do you want a little more flow or a little more PSI with a 2.5 orifice nozzle or a 3.0? I'll link both of those down in the description for you guys so you can get whatever you need. Now real quick, let's go ahead and test this little foam blaster. I'm going to load it up with my Quiver Rogue soap. This is a high foaming soap. So if we don't get a lot of foam with this, I don't know what to tell you. Typically in a normal foam cannon, I would use about 1 ounce, slightly less, slightly more, but right about 1 ounce, and you get a crazy amount of foam. If you use something like my Quiver foam cannon, this is a proper foam cannon that gets a ton of foam. This combo is unreal. I will link all this stuff in the description for you guys. This also, there's different little orifices inside here, and you can change those out. This one comes with a 1.25 orifice standard, but it also comes with a 1.1. With this unit, you would definitely run the 1.1. It's gonna increase the foam production for you even more. So let's go ahead and try this. I'm gonna put 1 ounce in. All right, so we got 1 ounce in, and then we went ahead and filled the rest of it up with water. Now the concentration on this is actually higher than it would be in a foam cannon because this is only 800 mils of capacity versus a foam cannon is 1,000, so that ratio changes that a bit. But let's go ahead and show you the foam production. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and test it right now. There's a nozzle on top to see which way gets the most amount of foam. All right, definitely to the right. It's not bad, guys. It's really not bad. If you want something, if you're okay with the hose length and everything, this will get the job. It's not as much foam as I like, but it's decent. Again, with that, again, my soap, Quiver Rogue, is a very, very, very high foaming soap. Dual surfactant, it's amazing soap. So keep that in mind, but I'm not mad at the foam production from this. So here it is, guys. We're gonna go ahead and show you. Sorry if this is gonna be shaky. I'm trying to do this all one-handed. Here we go. Look, it's not great. It's runny, but it's definitely applying a good amount of product onto the surface. Again, I don't hate it. Now really quickly, just to show you the difference of a proper foam cannon, this one actually has the 1.25 installed, so if we switched over to the 1.1, we'll get even more. But just to show you quickly, taking the exact same solution, pouring it into here. It's another nice thing. You can see the size of the opening. It just makes it much easier to fill your product in this foam cannon. That's an interesting thing too. Just a side note, how this sits, right? You see these edges come up, and then you have this piece. So as you're trying to empty it out, stuff gets captured there and you can't get all of it out. Not a big deal, just something to note. All right, And as you can see, guys, that's only halfway full, right? Versus that thing was still almost completely full. But we'll go ahead and plug this in and I'll show you. Okay, so here is the difference. Again, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Here we go. You can see how this layers on nice and thick. Look at that. And again, this is with the 1.25 orifice, not the 1.1. Look at that, boom. So there's that nice shaving cream, nice thick foam. Again, if we had a 1.1 in there, it'd be even crazier. So that's the difference, again, from a proper quality foam cannon like this one versus just one of these little soap blasters. But again, the fact that they include it, it honestly got more foam than I thought it would when you're using Quiver Rogue, at least, because it is a high foaming soap. So not terrible at all. And here is the rinse off. Again, guys, this is the 3.0 nozzle. But as you can see, that extra flow really helps to just kind of rinse everything away easier, right? Pushes it all. I kind of like to use it like a broom, and I'm pushing all the product away. That's great. Again, not the most amount of flow for sure, but it is absolutely going to get the job done. And then for around the house, this thing's great. All right, guys, so what are my final thoughts on this thing, and do I think you should buy it? I think for the general home use situation and being available at Costco, it's a home. I like it a lot. I think it's a really, really good unit. Again, universal motor, but the features on this thing is so cool that you can wall mount it, keep it out of the way. Really, really nice. The hose is decent. Again, not as long as I like, but it's a decent hose. The little foam blaster, it's not a full foam cannon, but for what it is, it does a good job. The flow, all that kind of stuff was decent. Like it all functions well. At a price of 199 bucks and the amount of features, I definitely think it's worth your money, guys. Definitely check it out at your local Costco. But that is today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you guys on the next one.